This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for Heart Mojo with Melinda Smith. And here we are in February, Melinda, and we've had,
Valentine's Day, Heart
yeah,
Mojo.
exactly,
See, heart
exactly.
on. I have my heart for the day, and like I always wear them.
So, who do you have with us today?
Well, one of my good friends, Jodi Turk. How are you, Jodi?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. We've talked about you being on for a while. And the reason why I wanted you on, besides the fact that we're good friends, is that you are a female business owner in a business that's male dominated, right?
Correct.
And I want to talk about the challenges of that. How did you get started? So why don't you tell us a little bit how you got into that business?
Okay. I started in 1999 and my husband was in the carpet cleaning industry world prior to that. Uh, his partner and his partner passed away, and Frank went into a different business and he wanted to get back into carpet cleaning business. And I said, you know what? I want to open up a company. Never really realizing that it was back then very difficult for a woman to be. I was one of the first women in Cleveland, Ohio to open up a carpet cleaning
Great.
business. It was not easy. Um, I did it, and you know, it was hard not knowing that it was going to be that difficult to open it up. You had to be one of the good old boys. That's all I can tell you. You just had to be one of the good old boys in order to get along with everybody, even the people that you buy your supplies from.
Right.
Everybody was a male.
So how did you overcome that? I mean, what did you do to meet that challenge of looking at the old boy network and saying, how do I break through that?
Listen, there were some times that I had to listen to all the wonderful women joke, sit there with a smile on my face, shaking my head, thinking in the back of my head, I just want to hurt you. But you know what? I pushed on, and I every day I didn't let it stop me. You have to be strong in this industry. I mean, you're working with men that are strong. You have to be able to lift 50, 60 pounds at almost every job that you're on. And I had to build myself up. I really did. I had to build my tolerance up. I had to psych myself out a lot. And I kind of went with the flow in the beginning.
So what did you use to build that confidence? I know that I first met you with a women's group, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it? Was it Red Key?
No.
No,
Was it when?
it might have been. We belong to a lot of networking groups, I know, but we met at a women's group. And is that how you started to build your confidence? How did you, overcome that male-dominated pushback that you had? How did you do that?
Yes, I did start going into uh, women organizations that I could speak to people. I could talk to people honestly about what I was going through. And then I started to sit on boards of these places. And then those women wanted to use me in the carpet cleaning business world. I started forming more personal relationships where I could get clients that were women. But I have to say, mostly women make up their mind that they're going to do carpet cleaning. Men don't just call you up and say, I want carpet cleaning done. Mostly their spouses but you know, it didn't matter. And I started gaining a lot of confidence, um, and I became PowerMax. And I wanted a strong name. I wanted a strong name. I didn't want a frou-frou women's name. I wanted to stand out. And I did go up against some of the big people like Arcelanian and Stanley
Mhm.
Steamer. They would have the smile on their face when talking to me. I would not budge an inch. I stood up to them as if I was talking to my mother or father. I would just be strong and powerful and not cringe at talking to the big people.
So did you use the skills that you were learning through the different networking groups and the professional groups in order to obtain that feeling for yourself to move yourself forward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I started I started doing vision boards. I started doing I was doing all the networking with all these women, and I came into my own. If there was something that was absolutely outrageous, a filthy joke, whatever, when I'd be standing with all the men, you know, I did fire a man over it in my own company. And I did tell the man, I said, if you ever as much as tell that joke again while I'm standing in the room, I used to take it, but I said, if you ever tell a joke like that again in front of me, I said, I'll go to the head of the company. I wasn't going to put up with it any longer. I just wasn't. And I think the confidence, being with other women, strong-minded women who also own companies, I think that's really what brought me into my own.
So did you ever think that you would run a company like this? What did you want to do
No,
originally?
I am a movie writer by nature. And I was going to Hollywood. I have a cousin who I'm going to date myself, who worked for Matlock and
Mhm.
Family, and I was offered a 90-day internship. And for whatever reason, I had my family and I wasn't going off to California. I didn't go. And I opened up a company, which I do the writing and the advertising as well for this company too, because I will not let my writing skills go to waste.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that. See, I learned something new today. I didn't know that
Yes.
Yeah.
about you. I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Documentaries was my favorite. I told my dad one day I wanted to work for Steven Spielberg. And my dad's like, who is that? This was way back. And I was like, Dad, I just want to work for him. I don't care if I have to start cleaning his toilets, and then I really got started in documentaries and I loved it.
Now you could clean his carpet, right? You wouldn't have to clean his toilet.
Exactly. If he wants to get my truck over to California, I will do it for him.
So, what did you use to take your business to the next level? I believe you participated in a special program, right?
I did. Um, in my networking groups that I'm in, some women asked me if I was interested in doing the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, after 22 years, what could I possibly learn that would make a difference? I mean, I I just I didn't think I wanted to even do it. And then I went to the interview. I said, you know what, at least I'm going to go to the interview. Let's see if they accept me. And I want to hear a little bit about it. Changed my world. It changed my world. I After I was done with my interview, mind you, I've been in business for 22 years. I haven't interviewed in 22 years. And it I got accepted. And I'll tell you, on the first day that I sat with 26 other business owners, some who were a lot younger than me, and a couple that were older than me. But I have to tell you, I learned so much. I can't recommend this program enough to any person, woman, man. It's an incredible program. It's free. It's almost as tough as an MBA, I have to tell you. I mean, an MBA, it's very difficult. I graduated in 2019 in the December class, and they haven't been in person since COVID, but they're going to go back in person. But top notch, first class, everything from law, marketing, advertising, brainstorming. You get there is so much. I can't begin to tell you. I loved it. I learned so much, even from restaurant people, throwing out your problems that you have, listening to somebody that's 20 years younger than you. How would you handle this? Maybe I'm just thinking the old way. I learned a lot.
So that took the challenge of what do you do with your business to the whole new level.
It did. And I'll even tell you, they even went as far as, how are you going to exit your business? You know, I never thought about that. 22 years in this business, and I never thought, how would I exit this business? Sure, do I have 3 kids that have been working with me since they're probably 10 years old? Yes. Never had asked, never thought how I was going to close this business down. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this honestly. Honestly, if my kids don't take over, I want the business to die with me. I don't want to sell it. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this business, and I don't want it. If my kids who have the work ethic that me and my husband do, I don't, I don't want it to go on. So that really made me think. And can you imagine standing up in front of 26 people who want to sell their business and me sitting there saying, I don't want it. I don't want to sell the business. I want it to die with me.
Well, unless your children want it, right?
Unless my children want to take over, I don't want anybody taking it over other than the 3 of them.
So how did you meet, speaking of your children, how did you meet that challenge of raising your children, running this business, then taking it to the next level by taking, in essence, a graduate course in business? How did you do that? How did you manage that? Because I think that's the tough thing for many women in any industry, male dominated or not. You know, what do you do with your kids during the day? You said your kids participated in the business?
When they were extremely young, and I will tell you this, you can ask anybody in my community, because I do a lot of volunteer work in my community, but you could ask anybody. I'd be standing with my books and my phone, standing in the middle of the swimming pool in Lyndhurst swimming pool. And while my kids were doing their swim lessons or whatever they were doing, I was answering phones, watching them, cheering for them. There was not a moment that I don't know. I don't know if you'd appreciate that. I mean, when you're a woman business owner, I mean, my kids have said to me, you know, Mom, on a Disney trip, my kids made me promise that I would not bring my books and my phones with me. Couldn't get anybody to take over. Back then, I found the only charger at Disney World to answer phones with, because I was having problems back in Cleveland with a group of Beechwood people that all had lice and had gotten all into the carpets and bedding and things. And my people didn't want to go in and clean it because they didn't want lice. And I had to, oh my gosh. But so I had big problems and my kids wanted to kill me, but I made it work.
So do you think that they appreciate you more now that they are older? I don't know, how old are your kids now?
My oldest is 27, 24, and 21.
So in the age of my kids. So do you think they appreciate that now, even though at the time they may not have been very happy?
Okay, I hope that they do, but I will tell you this. They have a work ethic that I would hire them in a moment. And I don't just say this because they're my kids. I mean, when we go to a huge 20,000 square foot job and all of us are working, you can count on them to be on time. They have a wonderful work ethic. And I fired the last 13 people in my company over the last year, 13 people, because they weren't showing up on time. They didn't like the uniform. They didn't like this. They didn't want to do stairs. Most houses have stairs. If you're not going to
That's
clean them,
true.
then don't bother coming to work.
Right.
So I have to tell you, my kids would do just about anything. And I love their work ethic, and I love that the jobs that they're in, I love their commitment to it.
Well, and I would guess they learn that from you by watching you every day. So for the moms
Absolutely.
out there who are worried about starting a business and is it going to hurt my family? I think you're a testament to how it can help your family move forward and give them a vision of what it means to really work a job. Because today we don't see a lot of that, as you just pointed out. Did COVID change that for you during the process? Like, do you feel your help changed because of COVID?
Okay, so we are an essential trade. And I have to tell you, in 2020, I had 11 days off. And in 2021, I had maybe 2 weeks off. I I had to hire people that could go separately, drive in their own cars so that nobody would be with anybody else. I took people who were out of work that run their own companies that were out of work, and I hired them to come to work with me to work in separate parts of houses. I taught them how to do it. And best 2 years, I have to tell you, honestly, it was because everybody was working in their house. Everybody needed everything sanitized, and all the businesses, they were not working in their businesses and working in their house. So everybody was having everything sanitized there. I worked morning, noon, and night, 7 days a week, nonstop. I hired everybody and anybody that I knew that was out of work and put them to work.
That was great. That was an amazing thing to do. Again, you were giving back in the community. You mentioned you already do a lot of volunteer things. So
I do.
I feel like busy people tend to do more. I don't know. What do you think, Karen? Don't you feel like people who are busy always find time to do more?
Well, it sounds, Jodi, you've got a passion. Okay. You've got a passion for the business. You know, as a female, you know, I like to have my carpet cleaned. Okay. And I will tell you, nothing against the national chains, but that's what they are. They're national chains. So you don't get, you know, that one-on-one, you know, sort of conversation with them. We have carpet that was brand new in our bedroom a little over a year. And according to the warranty, I have to have it cleaned every 6 months.
Right.
So I just had it cleaned about 3 months ago. The guys who came in were terrible. They complained from the minute they walked in the door. And it was one room they were cleaning. And when I called the national chain to say something, I said, you sent 3 guys for one room, which they were tripping over each other, but they complained. And the comment was, well, did they clean the carpet? Well, they did, but that's not the experience I would like to have. And so what
Right.
I'm hearing you say, it's not necessarily, yeah, it is cleaning the carpet, but it's a relationship that you're building with your clients. And that's why over COVID, it probably was much easier to get into their homes because you had already established that relationship.
Yes. And let me tell you, it was not easy when you have 3 children that are at on Zoom for school, the mother working in one room, the father working in another room. But you know what? You have to have patience and tolerance for everything. We all had to maneuver our way around everything. And I also believe that no matter what, everybody is deserving of clean carpets. And I don't care if you have no money, if you have a 20,000 square foot house, if you live on a street that's boarded up and you're the only house on the street that isn't boarded up, everybody deserves clean carpets. You have to show compassion. You do.
Giving back is part of your passion too, right? So tell me some of the things that you do.
Well, if somebody comes to me, for instance, that is coming home with cancer and they have to come home to a clean environment, I will go there and I will be on that job too. And we will make sure that it's spotless. And then at the end, I will not charge them money.
Oh, that's
I
great.
also offer to nurses and in people in who were going through and living the nightmare of COVID. I also offered like to 20 some people that we would come and do a couple of rooms of cleaning for them just to give them something fresh to come home to because they had so much stress in their lives. Um, I, the school, I live in Lyndhurst, and I would donate to the school to almost every function and to the Lyndhurst community. I always donate carpet cleaning time. I always give back to our community, always.
See, I'm a big believer is what you give, you get back. So you do a lot of good things. You're thankful, I think, for everything that you have.
Yeah,
And because you're thankful and grateful, you are willing to give back. And I think that's an important piece of who you are and why I wanted you on today.
thank you.
Because, you do these things. You're a powerful woman who pulled a business together in an industry that was male dominated. And here you are, it's successful. You made it through COVID. And on top of it, you managed to give back, not only to the people who were involved in COVID at the time, the nurses, well, they still are, but nurses and people working in their home, but you give back otherwise too, right? Don't you go to the food pantry and you're on,
Yeah, I do the kosher food bank, and I obviously I sit on board for the Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I sit on board of WIN. I donate a lot of time, and I love it. I love it. I do. And I've met more, I mean, since 1999, now that we're in 2022, I mean, there are more people more women in the carpet cleaning industry, but I will tell you, way back when, there was a woman carpet cleaner, and every time she would show up at somebody's house, they would ask her to please leave. They didn't want a woman carpet cleaner. And I started to realize that it was the same woman over and over again. They would call me and say, "You're not coming out, are you?" And I was like, and what if I do? I mean, I don't know. I felt terrible for that woman, and it was a big chain, but I felt horrible for her. And I even tried to reach out to her to see, I wanted to hire her, but I did, but she did quit the industry. She was getting too much torment, and I guess she just wasn't, they just beat her down. But I wanted her to come aboard with me because I did, but she's not in the industry anymore.
And how sad is that? Because typically it is the woman who keeps the home clean. Okay. I
Exactly.
don't think I've ever seen my husband use a vacuum cleaner. Um, and so he'll notice when the carpet probably needs to be cleaned, and he'll say, "Hey, I think we should call and get the carpet cleaned." So, he's very supportive in that manner. But I don't think it's a man's job per se to clean a carpet.
No, and when men call me, when they do, because it's mostly women that call me, when men call me, they get all the information. They say, "You know what, I have to tell my wife everything that you've said now." So there you go.
Interesting. Yep.
well, they want to make sure it's what she wants, right?
Yes.
So when they call you, do they behave differently when they find out that you're the owner of the company? Do they, say, "Oh, well, gee, I thought it was your husband I was going to talk to, or it was a guy I was going to talk to"? Because Jodi could be a
No,
guy or a woman, right?
I would say when you come to the door, when I come to the door and I show up and they've talked to me on the phone, they were like, "Oh, I really didn't think it would be you." I talked to I talked to a woman on the phone. Um, I thought I was getting one of the owners. And I was like, "I am one of the owners." Some that happened even as of today.
Really?
Yes, I
Oh,
still, people are, they're like, "Are you going to be able to carry that? Are you able to move the couches, the chairs, the coffee tables?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I can. I can move
that's
them."
why I'm here. I can do
Yes.
this. We've done a program on ageism. Remember, Karen?
Yep.
This is an ageism, but it's similar in the respect that because you're female, because you're a woman, you come across the same barriers as somebody who might be older coming in and going, oh, I didn't know you owned this company, or I thought this person would be younger, especially in a tech industry. So I think it's very similar, don't you think, Karen?
Absolutely. I mean, I go through that on the weekends. I'm a tech trainer at a big box store. And when people come in and I'm giving them information, they'll look at me and they'll say, maybe I should talk to that young kid over there. And I'll say,
Oh,
I just trained him. So what's your question? And then they get surprised. It's, you're a woman, you're an older woman. Why would you know about this? And it's about time that people understand, if you're passionate about something and you have the interest, doesn't make any difference if you're a man, a woman, or what age. You've got the knowledge.
exactly. Exactly. And I'll tell you something. I was a chubby woman prior to COVID. I lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
Most people don't even recognize me now. And I was strong then too, but I'm telling you, I walk in now, I'm like, I'm skipping.
Well, you feel your power when you go in. I mean, you were powerful before. And weight is a personal preference. Like, where do you want to be for you, right? But you had a goal, and that shows me, I mean, you had a goal for your business, you've reached your goal. You had a personal goal, you've reached your goal, right?
Yes.
So I'm
I
sure
just,
that's empowering for you.
it was necessary. I mean, it was a lot of weight, but I feel much stronger now anyways. And yeah, I just felt like during COVID, it was time for me to take off the weight. It was. It was just time. And I
Well,
did
it's
it.
good. Instead of gaining weight, which most people did during COVID, you worked on losing the weight during COVID.
Yeah, I just felt that I had you know, people who were dying, I noticed that a majority were severely overweight, and so was I. And I said, you know what? I'm coming out of COVID. I'm gonna rebuild myself yet again. Why not?
Absolutely.
Well, you've rebuilt your business. I mean, you took it over and then you grew again and then you grew again. And now you're doing personal growth. I think business can, a business growth can lead to personal and vice versa. And that's what has happened.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you were going to give advice, I always like to end in these things, especially when I have strong women on the show. If you were going to give advice to a young woman about starting any business, not just your business, but any business, what would you say?
Absolutely. What is stopping you? Women should support each other, get a network of women, everybody on board with you. Do not be afraid. Failure can only lead to the next path. You can't be fabulous in the beginning. You're going to make mistakes, live and learn, but do it. Do not try it. You will never know unless you try.
Absolutely. Good advice. Good advice.
Absolutely.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they said, oh, that strong woman, I want her cleaning my carpet. How do they reach you?
Oh, they can reach me like a phone number, or
No number, website, whatever
uh,
you want.
they can reach me at 440-442-4240. They can reach me on my website, www.powermaxcarpetcleaning.com. Uh, However they want to reach me, they can. You can go on Google me, and absolutely, I will come out. I will hold your hand. I will make the process as easy as possible. I just want everybody to be happy and feel safe coming into your house. It's your personal space. And that's it.
That's awesome.
Do you stay within a certain territory, Jodi? Because I mean, Cleveland can be a big area. Let's be honest. So is there a footprint?
In Lake County, I will go out as far as Painesville. I'll go out as far as Auburn in that direction. The west side, It depends where you live. For a lot of people that I do know personally, I've gone out to Westlake, Rocky River. I go out to Parma because I do restaurants there. I do commercial, residential. You just have to call me. I'll go within a 45-minute
Radius.
around Lyndhurst, from Lyndhurst, 45 minutes to 50 minutes.
Karen, you need somebody new to clean your carpet.
Well, you know what? We're coming up on in the
Carpet
next 3
cleaning.
months. So, it's like might as well have somebody who understands my carpet, and understands me. That would be nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you being on today. I know we do all different types of subjects, right? You've seen it before where we talk about health issues and challenges of that. But for me, it's also important to look at business challenges. Being a business owner too with Heart Mojo, right? Karen, you're a
Right.
business owner with the podcast. And the challenges that we face coming on board. I think it's important that other people hear your story and your passion and how you've pushed through, even during COVID, and actually had the best couple of years you probably had in the industry. So I think your information is very important to anybody in the business, male or female, but especially young women looking at, what do I do? What kind of business can I go into? Does it have to be a female business, or can it be just a business that they have a passion for?
Exactly.
So thank you.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid. I mean, it's a whole new world out there. It's open for us. You can do anything that you want to do.
Breaking that ceiling, pushing
I
through the
like
ceiling
that.
or through the carpet, however else you want to look at it. Well, thank you for being on today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Same here.
And
Same here.
we'll see you again, I'm sure, Jodi,
Take
some way or
care
another.
later.
You will.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. Absolutely.
Okay, everybody, look for her as our sponsor for our show.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much again.
Take care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Okay now.